Well, welcome to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for all things Star Wars. It's Thursday. That means you're watching one of two things. You're either watching this, you're hanging out with us, talking Star Wars, or you're watching the Canadian USA hockey game, which I was doing just before I came in here. It was 1-0 Canada before we came in. I'll tell you what, Nick, I'm rooting for USA. I got a bet on it with our good friends up at Rebel Scum Podcast. But I wouldn't be disappointed if Canada beat our asses tonight. I hate to be that guy, and I'm not going to go political, but fuck it. I don't care.
There's no losers tonight.
Best sign I saw outside of TD Bank Center, somebody held up a sign saying, good luck to the USA, the 11th province of Canada. But that was brilliant. Anyway, Nick, let me turn it over to you before I just get out of hand here with all this stuff.
Well, Matt says it best. Oh, shit. We got both Pete and Nick.
Yes.
It has been a minute. We've had a couple of weeks of family and life and craziness and all the things. And we've gotten the band back together tonight. The OG crew is in the house. Our man, Chris Ryans, is hanging out in the background, producing, being awesome as always.
Hi, Chris.
There he is right there. That handsome son of a bitch. Yeah, we're coming out full bore, all barrels, firing on all cylinders tonight on another Thursday ATG Live. We have an amazing guest. Our friend John Tague is going to be with us here in just a little bit.
Nice.
We've got news of the week, as we tend to do. There's always moments when we think, is there going to be a news story? Is there going to be something? A story drops, we text it to one another, and like, that's what we needed. That was the one that's going to kind of, just push us over the top. So news of the week, we're going to be taking your calls, another action-packed show, as we always have. In the meantime, here's some things that you can do to be a part of this show. We want you to be a part of it. We want you to connect with it. Go to the sswnetwork.com. There you're going to find the aforementioned news stories. You're going to find links to the podcast, the audio version. You're going to find all the places on social media that we hang out and exist and probably spend more time than we should admit out loud. You're going to find links to our merch store where we have dumb t-shirt designs, awesome stickers, flags, pint glasses, all the things that you need in your life that has all our crazy, silly ideas on it. You're also going to find a link to our Patreon program. This is something that we try to hit on most weeks. For as little as $3 a month, you can help support the work we do here. We'll send you swag. We'll have meetups. We'll get you plugged in when we do regular recordings of Around the Galaxy, which we're a little overdue on, but we've got some things in the works cooking up. Some perks to be involved. We want you to be, rewarded for being a part of helping us do what we love to do, every Thursday night. And as you can see at the top of the screen right here above my dumb face, we have our voicemail line, 504-321-1501. You can call that at any time.
Yeah.
Tonight during the show, in the middle of the week at 3 o'clock in the morning, when you get struck with that lightning Star Wars, holy crap, I had a thought and I want Nick and Pete to talk about it. Call that message or call that line, leave us a message. And you're going to get connected in. We want this to be a show about you. We want you to be a part of all the things we're talking about, all the things we're doing. So that's what we're doing. We're hanging out on a Thursday night doing Star Wars stuff.
It's what we do. It's what we do.
And we also 100% what we do.
We also drink a little bit before we go on. And so and during and whatever. It is still it's Boba Fettuary still, Nick.
It is still Boba Fettuary.
Next month is coming. We know what it's going to be. You don't yet, but we will tell you when it hits. We're keeping this tradition alive. But what do you got there, Nick?
All right. So first of all, and this may be the end of all of our silly drinking games.
Oh no!
As I told you right before the show started, I came home and quite the tragic turn of events. Discovered that I am out of beer at my house.
Gosh.
But the show must go on. So what am I going to chug tonight? It's going to be a lemon White Claw hard seltzer. So
like a teenage girl at a prom party,
like those Sprite videos on TikTok where people like down a Sprite and then like burp the most unholy thing that's ever happened to them in their life.
Yes,
I don't know how this is going to go.
Well, I got my beers. So.
I was riding the high of besting our friend Corey Ryan Forrester, coming right there, on the line,
right?
A couple weeks ago. So we're gonna throw it up there tonight. If you aren't aware of the action figure beer chugging game, We theme it every month: Snoketober, Snokember, Darcember, Jan Dodanuary. He's Boba Fettuary, and we are rolling into March, which I'm sure somebody in the chat will have a guess as to what March is going to be. We'll reveal that next week. We've got one more week of Boba Fettuary, but we're gonna raise a toast. I might very well get the good old White Claw cramps in about 10 seconds. We're gonna see how much I can put into this temple of a body of mine.
And I have a Boba Fett which is a little bit undersized, and so hopefully I don't choke on it. But
I have the Taco Bell balancing Boba Fett. Pete has the one he's going to choke on like it's a rocket firing Boba Fett itself. But we both are also rocking our Skywalker Ranch glasses, so we've got that going for us. So I'm going to raise the glass tonight to all of you watching, all of you hanging out, being friends of the show. Pete, do you have the sting ready for us? I see it right down there.
Yeah, I think I do. Or is that yeah, hold on. Let me get the screen set. Here we go. I'm gonna
cheers and happy Boba Fettuary. Oh, we're gonna start that over. I wasn't ready. All right.
My name is Boba Fett.
I can never finish it. I lose every time. You don't. You're a freaking professional. It's kind of.
I got a late start there, but
we did. But it worked out. It did. Absolutely. So, well, good. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by John Tague, and we're going to do our news. And then a little later in the show, we are doing our Star Wars Oscars. So we want to hear from you. And if you have any thoughts, you want to leave us a voicemail, whatever, you want to leave it in the chat. We're going to be picking the major categories from Star Wars or from the Oscars, and we're going to apply them to the Star Wars movies, and we're going to pick them out, and we're going to share them among the three of us. But we're going to take a real quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hit the news, and then we have our Star Wars Oscars coming right up. So we'll be back in just a minute with more ATG Live.
What's up, my fellow Gen X Star Wars fam? My name is Chris Rhines from Broaxium. You may know me from ATG's Force Connect that I co-hosted with Pete and Nick. Now, I'm the owner and operator of Broaxium Outpost, an online shop for all your action figure and collectibles needs like Star Wars Black Series, G.I. Joe Classified, Star Wars Vintage Collection, Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series and Vintage Collection, Transformers Studio Series, Star Wars lightsabers and helmets, Masters of the Universe, and much, much more, including Star Wars action. All right, I have a lot of Star Wars stuff. I'm just saying. Stop by and check out the store at www.broaxiumoutpost.com. Sign up to become a part of the Bounty Hunters Guild and stay updated on new pre-orders, sales, and exclusive Broaxium content. Find something you like? Use the promo code ATG10 for 10% off your first order. We have Star Wars figures, by the way.
All right. Yes. Hey, say it every week. I'm going to say it again. If you're going to buy something like you do, buy it from this guy. There he is. I mean, plus you get 10% off, and it's not going to come packed like it was packed by some teenage kid in the back of the Target and just stomped on it and sent it to you, right?
Yeah. Why go to Target or Amazon, especially nowadays?
Right.
Hey, Broaxium Outpost.
Come on,
I pack everything with the care of a blind puppy. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, are blind puppies careful, or are you packing?
No, I'm packing it
with
like
it's like he's sending you
care
a blind
that I would
puppy.
give a blind puppy. If I could send blind puppies instead of extra Star Wars comics in every order, this thing would take off like mad.
I need a Black Series Darth Vader and a blind puppy. Can you hook me up?
Got you covered.
Things just got weird.
Got
Chris.
you.
Things just got all right. Well, thank you. Buy stuff from this guy. Buy stuff from him. So we're gonna bring in our guest co-host this week, and before we hit the news. So I'm just gonna hit the little bumper here, and we'll be joined by our guest. Look who it is, John Tague.
Look at this.
Nice of you guys to get dressed up for the Oscars. What the hell is this? I was all excited. I got dressed up.
You look great. You look awesome.
You look
Thank
fantastic.
you. You know, the
Like,
atmosphere in Hollywood is electric tonight with the Star Wars Oscars.
That's right.
You know, Burbank is a buzz at the moment. I saw Hayden Christensen. He walked by. He looked really good, and I think it's going to be a nice night. I think it's going to be a good night. Maybe good luck to Hayden.
Here's why I regret it even more at this point, because I literally texted Pete on Tuesday. And I said, if I can get a new white dress shirt before Thursday, I'm wearing my tux. And then my week did not play out. So it would have been even better if the two of us had left him looking like a jackass.
Yeah, that would have been at least, that would have been 2 against 1.
So, yeah.
Well, now
it doesn't really help me, but I'm trying.
Very poor showing, boys.
Yeah.
But you know what?
This is why we need you.
Our beards look on point.
This is true. This is true.
The beards are on point tonight.
Gotta go with what you got.
Matt says we're good, man. We've been it's been just living the Star Wars Thursday life, and the regular life stuff has been just a little bit nuts. But all good. How about you? How's
LA has been a weird place, boys.
Yeah, how close were you to the fires?
Very.
Yeah,
we were closer to the Hughes fires, which was out more like towards Castaic, which is a little bit northwest of like where the big Palisades fire was.
Yeah,
but,
it
was a little freaky. We had our go bags packed and we were ready to go. I had all my guitars ready to go, and I got to take care of what's important.
That's right.
Honestly though, it was crazy, and thank God for for our firefighters and all the special, the first responders and all those guys. Yeah, those guys are heroes, man.
For sure. Yeah. Well, it reminds me, I want to give a shout out to there's a podcast friend of ours called Thank the Maker. They are doing a charity event for to help LA kind of get back on their feet, called LA Strikes Back, and there's all kinds of great stuff that's being donated and auctioned and stuff. So check out lastrikesback.com and you get information about that. But I'm glad you're all right. I'm glad everything worked out.
Yeah, we're all good. We're all good. Good. We know some people that were affected, but this town's got a rebound, so we'll see what happens.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's just been a weird year to begin with. It's been a very long year already.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Let's get really political during the Oscars tonight.
Yeah, let's just like the real Oscars.
When time rolls around, we're just gonna light it up.
Absolutely. And speaking of political, the episode that you guys did with the guy, I can't remember his name, but he kind of did a parallel.
Corey Ryan Forrester. Yeah.
That was absolutely spot on, brilliant. Who knew how timely the Phantom Menace would be, and the whole the prequel trilogy would be at this moment. I mean, it is. We're watching it.
Makes me wonder. George Lucas has done some time traveling. He's got some access to something we don't know about.
100%.
Well, just think back then we were like, that's as bad as it's gonna get. We're like, dude, he's a mess.
We're only like 3.5-4 weeks into the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right.
The amount of times I wished for some George W. Bush, I didn't know that would ever happen, but here I am.
Oh man, I met Bush once.
Oh yeah.
It's a crazy story. I mean, we don't have to discuss it, but I did meet the man once.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Was it?
I don't know because I don't know the story, John.
It's all comparison, baby.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about there's been so much bad news. Why don't we talk about some Star Wars news so that way?
I didn't look. I have no idea what the new news is. So hit me.
That's okay. We'll hit you with it. Here we go. Well, John, just so you know, every week we do a bit of the Star Wars news from the week. We pick a handful of stories, we talk a little bit about them, and we dig in. So let's start with the first one. We're gonna put this one in the category of probably fan wishful thinking, but Lucasfilm may finally be bringing one of Star Wars' most beloved Legends characters into live action. A new report suggests that a TV series centered on Mara Jade, formerly the Emperor's Hand, is in development, with speculation running wild about how she could fit into the franchise's current canon. First introduced in Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire trilogy, Mara Jade was an elite assassin loyal to Emperor Palpatine, tasked with killing Luke Skywalker. She blamed him for Palpatine's death, which we know didn't happen, and set out to hunt him down, only to eventually abandon her vendetta, embrace the ways of the Jedi, and eventually marry Luke. However, given the events of the sequel trilogy, much of her original backstory would need to be reworked. A scooper called My Time to Shine, who is not necessarily the most reliable source, reports that Mara Jade is moving forward, though details remain scarce. The rumor comes amid speculation that Dave Filoni's upcoming Star Wars movie, which is supposed to start filming next year, potentially titled Heir to the Empire, could reintroduce certain elements of Zahn's storyline. Whether Mara's history with Luke will remain intact is unclear, but her role as a cunning force wielder working in the shadows could still be explored. Meanwhile, Spider-Man No Way Home star Zendaya is reportedly being considered for an unspecified Star Wars role, leading some to wonder if she could portray Mara. With Ahsoka proving to be a hit for Lucasfilm in the second season in development, another female-led series featuring a powerful lightsaber-wielding warrior seems like a natural next step for the franchise. Boys, I'm going to say it. I think this story is complete bunk. What do you?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I'm throwing it to John first, but I agree.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I know, George never liked that character, right?
It's true.
Correct.
George,
he's on record as saying he didn't like that character.
I don't think it's going to happen. But the Zendaya thing is, or Zendaya, however.
I always say it wrong. Yeah,
I can't. I'm not sure how to pronounce it either. Yeah. That would be I think a really strong choice. Did you guys see Challengers? She was great in that.
I have not seen that yet. That's
really good.
On my short list. Yep.
And she's great in Dune. I mean, that would be a really. I mean, if you're going to cast anybody in a role like that, she would be, I think, a good choice. Yeah. But no, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
she's a great actress, and I put more stake or weight into she might be in talks to be in something in Star Wars than I do it being Mara Jade. Like,
right.
But yeah, she's a hot commodity. She's a great actress. Like, give her a role. Let her be, let her be Governor Price. Let her be, an uptight Imperial. Let her be a badass rebel. Like, there's a bunch of places that I could see her fitting in and, playing a great role.
I like to see her as a badass Sith.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like, there's a bunch of spots that
nice to see her play a darker role. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mara Jade is just kind of, like Matt said, wishful fanboy thinking.
Yeah, I don't think, well, it's interesting because I think Mara Jade would be an interesting character to bring back because it will do two things from the darker side of the fandom's perspective. Number one, it would reintroduce this classic character that a lot of people loved, and an interesting character and an interesting storyline, and it may color in some of that gap between Jedi and Last Jedi and Force Awakens, and show maybe why Luke became so bitter, etc. I don't think they're going to go there, but it would be a sort of a nice olive branch, I think, to the fandom that misses Legends. Again, I don't see it really happening. I also, it's interesting because the whole Zendaya thing, I wouldn't have believed if it wasn't for the Ryan Gosling thing that we got a couple weeks ago, where it looks like he's going to be part of the what's his name? The guy who did Deadpool, his movie, Levy's movie.
Yeah, Mangold.
Sean Levy.
Yeah, Sean Levy. Yeah. So Levy, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of big names, but you never know. You never.
Yeah, that's the thing. It would be nice to see if they bring that character to life. It'd be nice to see an unknown play that part.
For sure. All right, well, let's hit another story then here, shall we? A rare piece of Star Wars history is hitting the auction block, with Luke Skywalker's Medal of Yavin expected to sell for up to $600,000. The iconic prop worn by Mark Hamill in A New Hope in 1977 was awarded to Luke by Princess Leia after his triumphant destruction of the Death Star. Prop Store, Nick, you're very familiar with them, a leading film memorabilia auctioneer based in Cheney's near Rickmansworth, is selling the medal, which it claims to be the first and only one to ever be offered for public sale. The auction house traced its origins to the collection of Gerard Bourke, a props master on the original trilogy. It's also believed that Harrison Ford, who played Han Solo, wore the medal during rehearsals. Another legendary Star Wars item is also up for auction, and it is Chewbacca's bowcaster, the powerful laser weapon wielded by the beloved Wookiee in the original trilogy. Built from a modified Horton crossbow, the bowcaster was designed to have a futuristic yet battle-worn aesthetic. Prop Store describes it as one of the rarest Star Wars hero props in existence, with an estimated value of $250,000 to $500,000. Brandon Allinger, Prop Store's chief operating officer, called these items incredible Star Wars props that hold a special place in cinematic history. The auction will take place in LA, right down the road from you, John, from March 26th
I'll be
to
there.
28th. Yeah. Offering collectors the chance to own a tangible piece of the galaxy far, far away. Guys, that means we only have a couple weeks to win the Powerball lottery, so that we can pull these things in. The question I want to ask you guys, and I'll just throw it out there because I don't have an answer off the top of my head either, but if you could own any prop from Star Wars, if you could go into the Lucas archives and own anything from any Star Wars movie or any Star Wars anything, screen used, what would you choose?
I know. I'll go first.
All
I'll
right,
jump in there. And I've got one over my right shoulder, but it's from Black Series and the wonderful folks who do Black Series. I want a screen used Stormtrooper helmet or a Stormtrooper uniform, like full armor, screen used. Like it's one of those classic, dial it back to the OG, the original. It just, lightsabers are cool. Han's blaster would probably be a really close second, but if we're talking screen used, a full set of, screen used Stormtrooper armor, maybe I'll even go, reach, and I want the helmet from the guy that hit his head on the door as he went through.
And the amazing thing is it would look so much worse than the Black Series one you have behind you. It would just
exactly.
It would look so beat up and horrible. What about you, John? Anything in mind that you would want?
Maybe the chessboard.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. There you go. That's cool, because you could also put your drink on it. You could,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think for me, I would probably want one of the original X-wing models, like just one of the screen used X-wing models, just because the X-wing, like as a kid, that was always my when you're a kid, you draw the stuff and you sketch that. Like I always tried to get like the little details on the X-wing. So to have one of those, I think would be pretty darn cool. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'll just say this about Prop Store, and Pete, you kind of alluded to it a little bit, the little bit of connection. I've been to 2 celebrations. I went to Orlando in 2017. I went to Anaheim. They always have booths set up. They always have displays. Like when I was in Anaheim, in Orlando, they had the models of the bottom side of Bespin in Empire when Luke's hanging on the weather vane or whatever it is. And it's literally like, it's all the things you see. Like we talk about Phantom Menace and the pod race scene, and it's all like Q-tips in the background.
Right.
Like you see it up close and it's nothing, but it's on camera. It's everything. You hear about this with like the idol from Raiders. It's just
that's
wood, spray painted gold.
Yeah. When I went to Skywalker Ranch, there was the whole case. There was a case of different movie props, and the idol was one of them. And I remember it because it looked awful. It was
it's just a beat up chunk of wood, but on screen, spray painted gold. Yep. It's exactly what you want it to be. Prop Store has such a great history of tracking these things, getting the stuff that's certified and whatever. They did a giveaway years ago. I actually won it on Instagram. I won a Chewbacca hair that was framed from one of the first original, Chewbacca suits. And just, it was this great, crazy thing, but they have such a great history of it. And so to see these things, when we were in Anaheim at Celebration, they had some of the stuff in their display booth. And one of them was the sign that was Blue Harvest.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it was like the Blue Harvest, like costuming or whatever it was. And it's just like, that's the kind of stuff that just, rings my bell and is like old school, vintage. but also like has that little nod to like, we know what it is, but we don't know. They just do great work. So I'm excited to see how this goes. And I wonder about that metal. When I read this story, I thought it's just a chunk of wood that, you know,
probably,
got hung around his neck. Like
great.
It's not that great.
Yep. But it's just the fact that it was there. It was on screen. It was part of the whole thing.
And that's what makes the magic.
I'm going to bring in Chris real quick just to see which one he would want. Which, Chris, you could get anything, any prop from a film. Which one would you want?
Land speeder. Luke's land speeder.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's
with the mirrors on the bottom, so it looked like it was floating.
Yeah. I just have like, just what is it? Some Vaseline over everything just to make sure it looks like it's floating.
Vaseline on the lens.
Yeah, it's my favorite vehicle. I would love the land speeder.
That's awesome. Cool.
What's up, Chris?
How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How's the shop?
Good. Going all right. Going all right. Staying afloat, as they say.
Good to hear.
That's cool. All right, good. Well, we got one more story, and let me see what I can do to get to that one real quick. This is where we lose the professionalism. It all goes downhill from here. Hang on one second. We're doing good until that. Whoops. I know I have it here somewhere. It's okay. Talk amongst yourselves.
There we go.
Nope, that's
there.
Not
we are.
Did you find it?
Right window, wrong story.
Yeah. Let me. You know what? God dang it. I'm just going to go back to the home. So you can always go to sswnetwork.com, the sswnetwork.com, and get the latest news stories when I can't find them. Hold on a second. The internet's not playing nice today. Here we go. Da-da-da.
It's Elon's fault. I'm just throwing it out there.
You know what? Forget it. We're just not going to do the last news story.
Let's make one. Let's make one up.
Yeah, let's okay. I'm not even that creative. I'm really not. How about Zendaya is going to play Mara Jade? Oh wait, that's already been taken. So I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to start our Star Wars Oscars. If you're watching us on Twitter, come on over to the YouTube channel. Yes, we have to talk about that as well. But come on over to the YouTube channel so you can be part of our chat and tell us what you think for the different categories. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is time to give out the Star Wars Oscars. Well, welcome back to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for all things Star Wars, whether you want Star Wars news. You know, sometimes we get all the stories in, but not this week. That's all right. Or you want great guests. Like tonight, we have John Tague with us. So good to see you. And your news and conversation. We want to hear from you. We want to see what you have to say in the chat. We want you to call in. We have one voicemail already. If you want to leave a voicemail sometime during the show, call that number. We'll play it blind. We don't know what you're going to say. Last week, we had no idea that Corey was going to call in, and he gave me a tough time. And that's okay, because I love Corey.
Well,
and I had it coming. Yes, I certainly did. John, before we get to the Oscars, let's do a little red carpet interview with you.
Sure.
John, for the people who may not be familiar with where they may have seen you before, they're looking at you right now going, I've seen that face.
I know that guy.
I've seen that handsome guy. John, tell us a little bit about some of the things you've been in and what you've been working on lately.
Yeah, sure. Well, my name's
what are
John
you wearing?
Tague.
No,
well, first of all, I'm wearing Paul Smith.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I got married in this jacket. I haven't worn it since then. Let's see. What's been going? Oh, so yeah, you might have seen me on a couple of TV shows like American Horror Story, The Blacklist, Lucifer, CSI Vegas, CSI Cyber, lots of TV. That's pretty much where I do most of my work. Some of the things I got coming up, I'm in the first ever VR 360 feature, and we just finished shooting it. Cool. And it's called Perspective, and hopefully it'll be out soon. I can't really say much more than that.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it was really fun because when you shoot in 360 VR, you're pretty much on your own. There's no crew around. There's nobody. It's you and the camera and the other actors in the scene, and you have to act around the camera. And it was a challenge. So that's fun. And,
is it like doing stage? Because
yes,
you're not you're not shutting down between takes, right? Or when you're not talking, you still have to be on, right?
In some instances, we would break up a scene if it was super long. We'd be like, okay, let's break this up here, and we'll be able to move the camera a little bit to get the focus of whoever's watching it to look in this direction instead of looking all over the place.
Right.
I actually saw the test of it, and it blew me away. I'm really excited about it.
Cool.
I think it's going to be really cool. I'll let you guys know when it comes out.
Awesome.
And I just finished recording a scripted podcast. And that's all I can really say about it.
Okay. All right. Well, good.
I can't give anything else away there, but I just finished recording one. That was really cool. It's the first time I've done a scripted podcast, so I'm stoked about that. It's
that's cool.
It's a kind of a thriller, and I think it's going to be really cool.
That's great. So follow John's IMDb and also follow John on Blue Sky. John has been smart enough to get off of Twitter, and you can find him on Blue Sky to keep up with him. And are you on Instagram as well? You're on Instagram.
I am. Yep. At John J Tague. Check me out. I'm there.
Cool. Follow him there. Well, the Oscars are coming up. We have an actor with us. So we decided what we wanted to do tonight was we wanted to take the 6 of the top categories of the Oscars: Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Director, and Best Film. And each one of us, we're going to pick what we think. We're going to make a little case for it. We are the Academy tonight, and so are you if you're watching. We want to hear from you in the chat. But I think this is going to be really interesting. We're going to take it from the 11 live action movies. It could be from any movie. It could be any character. And so why don't we get to our Academy Awards?
Well, majestic, absolutely majestic. It's just like walking up Hollywood and Highland. Fabulous.
It feels like it, doesn't it? Now, I'll tell you what, John,
it would feel familiar to you.
We don't do anything on this show unless we have an 8-second bumper that is just over the top.
Yep.
That was absolutely perfect.
Yep. Every time.
Well, why don't we? Let me just. I have my little list here on my phone, so I'm gonna. I'll pull up what we think. What I think should be our first category. You guys
should be women, ladies first, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm pretty sure that's where I had this here. Yes. So why don't we start with Best Supporting Actress in a Star Wars live action film? Matt's saying everything's going to be Empire Strikes Back. That was actually part of the challenge. So I'll let you guys. But Nick, why don't we start with
first.
You? What is?
Nope. Sorry. Okay.
Guest goes first. Okay. No. All right. Yep. John.
Guest goes first.
Okay.
Handsomest goes first. So John, you're up.
Thank you. Well, I have my choice, and then I have my runners up. Do you want to hear my runners up first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So my runners up for supporting actress, Thandie Newton.
Yes.
Laura Dern.
Yeah.
And Sheila Fraser. Those are my runners up.
Wait, now Sheila Fraser was who's?
She was Aunt Beru.
Oh my gosh,
Aunt
yes. Right, the original.
I might not be pronouncing her first name right. It looks like a Gaelic spelling, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. But my choice
Yeah.
For supporting actress is Pernilla August.
John, that's exactly who I said as well.
Really?
Yes. Yes. And why did you select her? I'm sure we selected her for the same reasons, but
she was so grounded in that role, and you felt real sympathy and heartbreak for her when you know they took Annie away, and how she had to stay because she was still a slave, and also during when Annie goes back to get her, that was heartbreaking, and she nailed it. She absolutely nailed it. That part, she killed it.
That's the only scene in Star Wars, especially since I've had kids, that I tear up in. When Anakin's walking away, she just sells that so well. She brings it brings all the emotion out there. Nick, did you join us?
And her death scene too is fabulous.
It's
you feel it for sure. And I think you feel it because of what she did in episode 1, even more so than just standing alone on that performance. I did not join you guys in this one. I went a little not off book. It's still a movie. It's still within bounds. I went with Phoebe Waller-Bridge as L337 in the Solo movie.
That's a good call.
Because that was a very electrifying performance. Like every time that robot / character was on the screen, like it had your attention. The droid revolution, the little jokes about, with Lando, we made it work. Like everything about that for me, like that it's kind of almost a borderline, like chewing scenery kind of situation. Like I was engaged every time L3 was on the screen. And I love Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And I think that she brought a really great energy to that particular character that ultimately becomes, the brains and heart of the Millennium Falcon. So that was my kind of wild card for that one.
That's a good call. That's a really good call. Well, I think though ATGLive is going to give the Oscar to Pernilla August. I think 2 out of 3 of us did, unless the chat seemed to jump on that. So I think we have our first winner. Unfortunately, she's not able to accept it.
Yeah, she can't accept the award. But what's interesting about when I was looking at who to pick for supporting actress, and this might not go over well with a lot of the fanboys, but it's there aren't many women to choose from in these films, and that I think we need more women in these films for sure. And it was interesting. I'm looking at it going, wow, there are not a lot of people to choose from.
Yeah. Well, I thought your Tandy Newton one is a great call. She I feel like she was underused in that movie, but she was man, she's great and
did a lot with the amount of time she had.
Her daughter's an amazing actress as well. And she was in Last of Us, the first episode.
I met Tandy once at a pool party.
Oh, really? She's one of my Westworld. I thought she was.
Oh, Westworld. She was so good.
She was shooting Westworld when I met her. So,
really?
Super nice.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, we need to move on to our next category, which is Best Supporting Actor in a Star Wars live action. Now, to the opposite of what you just said, John, there's a million of these guys to choose from. It's almost too many to choose from. But Nick, why don't we start with you on this one?
Okay. I'm going to go with, and like you said, there's a million choices. Chris is in the background. I can't wait to make this pick simply because Chris is my man. My best supporting actor is William December Williams himself, Billy D. Because what Billy D brought when we get him in Empire, what carries over, like just that, and I've used the word already with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, but he was an electrifying performer that even to this day we're going, I still want the Lando series. And that's based on what Billy D did, maximizing his screen time. Somebody that you're like, yeah, I don't trust him, but I like that guy. Like he brought a lot to it, and so Billy D is definitely my best supporting actor.
That's hard to argue against, although I do think this is a great call.
Hold my beer. Watch me.
What do you got, John?
Okay, I'm kind of kind of going old school here. I'm going to say Peter Cushing.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah. Wow.
Because I felt like every scene he was in was just menacing, and he took command of every single scene.
Yeah.
And when I was growing, like, I was afraid of him growing up.
Yes.
And so that's my choice.
That's a really good choice. It's funny. Like, I always think of like my dad, who when he saw Peter Cushing, he knew him from the old Hammer films, and
right.
So he was a big fan. But yeah, he was scarier than Darth Vader, actually, in many ways. So
yeah, I mean, he was holding the leash.
Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna go with a third choice, sticking to the Imperials. I am gonna choose one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, Ben Mendelsohn as Orson Krennic in Rogue One. He played, to me, the ultimate smarmy sort of middle management guy. Just try, and again, similar to other characters, you felt bad for him. But you hated him. You were just like, what a scumbag. But gosh, I feel a little bit bad for him. So, and Ben Mendelsohn's he's just a great actor.
And
that guy's amazing.
What's the Netflix series with Kyle Chandler? I forget what it's called.
Bloodline.
Yes.
So freaking good.
Fabulous.
He's so good in that series. Yes. Absolutely love that.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, and when we talked about this earlier in the week and said this is going to be the theme for the show and best supporting actor, like, there was no hesitation that I knew, Pete, you were picking Ben Mendelsohn for this.
I had to.
Yeah.
I had to. But there's some great. I like this call in the chat. Forrest Whitaker in
yeah. He was one of my choices, my runners up.
Yep,
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. Ian McDiarmid. It depends on which film, Dan. It's put in the chat, Dan, which film you're talking about. I mean, just to see, because I'm curious, because he was in what, 5 of the movies. So I don't know. So K2SO is another great call, but okay. So Matt's
Rancor Keeper.
Rancor Keeper. Yep.
Now
Malakili.
Matt's got a good one too. I mean, it's hard to argue against Alec Guinness, who to me gives one of the best accidental best lines ever, and that is or performances when he realizes that he's being called Obi-Wan again. He knows it's the end of the line. Of course, when they shot it in 1976 in Tunisia, it was just the way he acted. But I don't know. Who
maybe
this one.
Maybe do this. Maybe Pete, throw it to the chat for the 3 that we picked, and just get a quick quorum from the chat.
Yep. Of the 3 we said, we got Ben Mendelsohn as Orson Krennic. We have Grand Moff Tarkin himself, Peter Cushing, and we have Lando Calrissian, Billy D. Williams.
What you got, chat?
What you got,
Lando?
Chat?
We need some music. We need like the Jeopardy music.
Jeopardy, exactly.
At least a little music. All right, chat. What do you got? Here we see.
Oh, Marianne says Billy D. Williams. Oh,
yep, Matt says Billy D. Yep.
Okay.
I think we got to go Billy D.
Yep.
Chris, is that acceptable?
Chris,
what would since Billy D isn't
that's right.
here
Accept
to accept his Oscar?
Time.
Can you accept Lando's Oscar for him?
Thank you so much for awarding me this award. Very grateful. You guys are beautiful at ATG, and the chat. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. But who the hell said I was supporting character? I'm one of the main guys. Damn it.
Yep, that's it. Oh, 45, baby. Colt 45.
Very good. Thank you, Lando. It's a pleasure to see you. Thank you.
Outstanding.
Well, good. Well, now we got to move on to Best Actress, which I'm sure will be fraught with controversy. again, not a ton of choices, but those that there are each very
Pretty
qualified.
solid. Yep.
I'll go first this time since I haven't gone first yet. I'm going to say Daisy Ridley in The Last Jedi. I thought her breadth of response and character was tremendous. I thought my favorite moment is when she feels rain for the first time, and you realize living on Jakku, she had never seen rain before. And so she had a moment of joy, but she also had humor when she was learning the Force from Luke Skywalker. And she also had some of the most intense scenes when she had to fight Luke, when she had to fight Kylo. She had to deal with Kylo through these visions. So I thought her performance of the 3 movies, I thought Last Jedi was the best that she was in.
Outstanding. John, what do you got?
I'm agreeing with Pete. I picked Daisy Ridley as well. I felt like her emotional life and every scene she was in was rich, and she worked really hard in those scenes, and especially the fight scenes. But her emotional stuff was what I think really separated her from everybody else.
Yes.
As an actor, I really appreciated her work in The Last Jedi for sure. Yeah. I totally agree.
Cool.
And I love that you highlighted, especially talking about the fight scenes, because we've seen all the behind the scenes documentaries and the amount of work that, just like we saw the videos of Mark Hamill in the 70s in blue jeans and bell-bottom jeans and boots, fencing and practicing. We get those same videos of Daisy and Adam Driver, practicing those fight scenes and practicing Last Jedi. Like, she definitely committed to it. And that is certainly something that is, amazing. I'm going to go a little bit off book. This is the second one that y'all were in lockstep, and I went a different way. I'm going Felicity Jones. I'm going Jen Erso in Rogue One. The performance that she brought to that, to me, especially the scenes that relate to Galen, that relate to her dad, that, scene when he's dying, her watching the hologram from Saw, like, just, there's a lot of power. And I think that movie, obviously we have an Andor series, Diego Luna, Cassian, carries a lot of weight, but that to me is a 50-50 proposition in that movie. And I think that what she brought to that was really something special.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. She was my runner up. Definitely.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
So, yeah. But at this point on this stage, it's a 2-3. So Daisy is definitely our winner.
So I think, again, for some reason, they didn't show up tonight.
She couldn't be here tonight.
She couldn't be here.
She's filming a sequel to that woman swimming the English Channel movie. So
right.
Good.
Woman.
I didn't see the breakdown for the casting on that one. I must have
swimming back to
overlooked
the other side.
again.
Yeah, swimming back to the other side. That was that one. Gotta go, but you got to come back. You can't just stay in France.
Nobody tells you that part, right? The English channels are enough, but you gotta come back.
Yeah. You get to France, you gotta come home.
Yeah. Well, now we are back around to Best Actor, and the Best Actor, again, this could go 100 different ways, because there's also actors who were in multiple movies, and so which movie might they have won for? So, John, let's start with you on this one.
I'm going with Diego Luna.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. For Andor or for Rogue One.
Yeah, I mean, that's my speed. I thought everything that he did was great in that film. And plus, maybe I'm a little biased because of Andor. I think Andor is just fantastic. I just rewatched it and he's so good. I'm going with Diego Luna.
It's a good call. Good call. Nick, who do you got?
So I went with Adam Driver for this one. Adam Driver's Kylo. This was kind of my arc, and I know typically the Oscars are picked for a year in a specific movie and whatever. With Star Wars, we kind of get to have the luxury of picking it across some a couple of films. When Force Awakens came out, like I kind of didn't care, but by the time we got to Last Jedi, I was like, I hate that guy so much. I like him, and it was because of his acting, like what he put into that performance. And I've ruined it for Matt. I'm dead to him because I picked Han Killer as my, as my choice. But really, it is a tremendous acting performance. Like he does the things that, I'm a big fan of Sopranos and the amount of people, David Proval, the people that are in that show that you're like, I hate them so much that I like them. It's because they're doing a really good job. And, Adam Driver's performance of Kylo Ren, certainly in The Last Jedi, feeds right into that. So,
geez, that's a great call too. Yeah. And I think what makes Adam Driver so unique is it's a role that we've never seen in Star Wars before. And I think he created a new character in Star Wars. I'm going to go old school, and I'm actually going to pick Mark Hamill in Empire Strikes Back, because I think we get a really unique arc from Mark Hamill in that he had to act against puppets and robots. There's a lot of solo work, no pun intended, for Mark Hamill in that movie. He's got to carry his whole story by himself and with a beeping tin can for the most part. And then the emotion that he's able to make us believe that facing his father was something he didn't expect, or first of all, facing Vader and then realizing it's his father. So that's where I'm going with this. And I think I almost went with Return of the Jedi, but I think his performance is better in Empire. So guys, we have a 3-way split. So this one means we got to go to the chat for the winner on this one. We know Matt's not going to pick Kylo just because he's against that. But chat,
and while we wait on it from the chat,
to
get kind of a consensus. Something that I heard. Shout out to our friends from Yub Nub Podcast, because I literally listened to their new episode today, talking about Mark Hamill, talking about Empire Strikes Back, that famous scene. The I am your father, or no, I am your father scene.
Right.
He wasn't told that in that moment. So that wasn't what he reacted to. Do y'all know what it was that he reacted to? What he was told script wise?
I thought it was that Obi-Wan was his father.
No, he was told that Obi-Wan killed your father.
Oh, killed your father. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
And that was the thing that got him. No, that's not true. That's impossible, to elicit kind of the reaction out of him. It wasn't the I am your father, it was Obi-Wan killed your father.
W. Which would have been a very cool and different story. He kind of did kill your father, really. I mean, if we that we look at the way
we fast forward to the Kenobi series, and he goes, no, I did it. And so we're like, okay, who owns this? We've got
movie
one
magic.
vote.
You never know.
Yep. Marianne says Adam.
Anybody else?
We know Matt's not going to vote for me. Dan says you're not getting toy royalties. That's what I heard. Yeah, that's a great one. It's not true. That's impossible.
I don't know. I think I can agree. I agree with you, John, in that I think that the Andor show has colored the Cassian character a little bit, even though he was really great in that. I would say let's give it to Adam.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Which movie though, Nick? Which
I'm going Adam in Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because he was barely in.
I mean, that was full bore torment. Like the change, the redemption. I mean, of course, I'm a sucker for him and Han. On the bridge of the old Death Star and all that kind of stuff. But like middle portion of that, God, this guy annoys the shit out of me, but it makes me happy when he's on screen. Like,
right.
That's when it's working.
Yeah, I mean, he crushed that role.
He did. All right, what do they give out first, director or picture? It's picture is the end of the night, right?
Picture's last, yeah.
Right.
Picture is the end of the night,
best director. Nick, I think you're up.
Okay. I went Irvin Kershner for Empire Strikes Back. I think that it's my favorite of the Star Wars movies. I don't necessarily think it's not. I mean, it's weird. I say favorite and best. Last Jedi to me is the best Star Wars movie. Empire is my emotional favorite, sentimental favorite. But I think that, and Matt's right, as a Gen X kid, shocker, I picked Empire. It's such a great movie, and there's so much in it. There's so much weird stuff in it. You've got a snow planet, you've got asteroid fields, you've got a big giant worm in the middle of an asteroid, you've got reveals. Like, he took all these things that George Lucas handed him and created which could arguably be the best sequel movie of any sequel movie of all time, stacked right up there with Godfather 2. Like, it's phenomenal and might even outpace the original. And I think that comes from his ability. So I'm going Irvin Kershner for Empire Strikes Back.
That's a good one. John, who do you have?
I got Kirsch also. My two favorite movies are The Empire Strikes Back and The Wizard of Oz. I think they're the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
I'm Empire and Raiders. Yeah.
Right.
I'm Empire and Raiders.
Those are my favorite movies. They might not be the best movies ever made, but to me, they are the most important movies to me. I mean, what he was able to do, he made that film character driven, which the first one, had glimpses of. It had glimpses of it. It was the setup and George is the GOAT of all time. I mean, without a doubt. But Kirsch, I think, was that what he did to that film. He made it. He put a human face on things, and even the puppetry and all that stuff. You just bought into it. And that's a good director, man. I mean, he's a guy who gets story, and 100% for me.
Well, this is our first unanimous one because I had to go with Irvin as well, just because it was, it was just everything you guys said. And the other thing is he had to take this from George Lucas, who created this style, and he improved upon it. I mean, there's no denying that it's a better movie. And I always say, without Empire Strikes Back, you don't have more Star Wars. Never mind Star Wars itself, but Empire was the first place where we started to expand the lore. We started to get Jedi stories. We started to see what a Jedi could do. We started to understand some of the backstory, and he brought that to life in a way that, again, at the time, if you think back, I mean, all these Jedi powers suddenly are happening, and you're like, wow, I didn't know that, and he made it believable. Plus, I mean, he took Billy D. Williams and put him in made him that character you were talking about, Nick. He took I mean, what is it? We just heard on the Smartless podcast with Mark Hamill, where he was saying that he and Frank Oz are now still friends all these years later, just because of the time that relationship he created between Yoda and Luke. So,
I think it's worth highlighting because I loved what John said about Empire was character driven. Star Wars 1977, or New Hope as we now call it, that was story driven. Like, that was the story, that was the adventure, that was the bad guys are coming, we've got to stop this thing, we've got to rescue the princess. But by the time we get to this second chapter of this, fifth chapter of this, however you are counting it, we're going, oh wait, there's a this guy and there's a this guy. We've gotten to know all those folks, and each one of them has the thing going on. Han and Leia have their thing going on. Luke's in the middle of this training journey, like every bit of it. And so I think the ability to balance all of that out and have every one of them be important and vital to the story, and then end where we did, which was, kind of a kick in the pants. It was your Sopranos ending for 1980. Wait, what do you mean it's not a happy ending? We don't know what's going on. Like, it was ballsy, and I love it.
Yeah. And I think if Don't Stop Believing was playing at the end of it, it would have just been hit even harder,
We've done laugh tracks. Next, we're doing Don't Stop Believing at the end of Empire. That's it.
I'm putting that together. I'm going to be doing
two edits. That's
I will give a shout. There's one thing that I wish we could have seen from a director. I really would have liked to have seen David Lynch's Return of the Jedi.
Oh, wow. Was he under consideration for that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He
He had a
was.
meeting with George, and he was like, "This isn't for me." But I think,
Jeez, can you imagine what that would have been?
I think that would
Holy
have been
cow.
amazing. But it probably would have tanked it. But who knows?
That date, wow, yeah, that would be something for sure.
And I want to highlight this real quick from Dan. He said when the AT-AT showed up on the big screen in 1980, everybody was floored. You don't see that with reactions today, and that's it. And that beyond just the actors and the storytelling, I mean, you've got Phil Tippett stop motion, you've got ILM hitting their stride, creating so many other things that just we thought Star Wars was crazy because it took everything to the next level, and they said, hold on, watch this.
Yep. Oh yeah. And it started with the end battle, which was another completely different kind of cool. And the last thing I'll say about this with the don't stop
That's
believing.
true.
Ending.
You know what? I've never thought about that. That's really interesting. I never thought that they started with the end battle in that film. Wow.
Yep. I think the other thing is it's an art that's been lost now. Is it was clearly setting up the third movie, but it did it in a way that was still satisfying. So if Return of the Jedi never came out, I mean, it was going to, but if it never did, it was still a satisfying enough ending. Whereas I think it's the streaming approach to things where there's so much of a cliffhanger. You're just like, you're irritated and you don't want to wait. So, but anyway, so that leads us to best picture, best Star Wars picture from a, this is not favorite necessarily, but this is best picture. I guess I'll start this one because I think it's a background to me. This may be a controversial pick. It's not one of the nine Roman numeral films. I'm going with best picture, Rogue One. I think as an ensemble cast, as a story from beginning to end, as a story that has emotion and action. I think it one-ups A New Hope from that perspective. But to me, it's now after all these years, if I'm going to sit down and watch a Star Wars movie, for the longest time it was Empire. Then for a while it was Phantom Menace, believe it or not. And now it's Rogue One, and I think it's just because it's the whole package. And so for best picture, primarily because of the ensemble cast, because you have so many great characters. Was it the Magnificent Seven in space? And so to me, it works from that perspective. So to me, I'm putting in my vote for best picture as Rogue One. Nick, what do you got?
I'm going, and I've already seen it in the chat, my friend Greg from Fanboy Cantina, Star Wars A New Hope. 1977, it wasn't called New Hope at the time, but this is the one that changed the game. It was actually nominated for Best Picture that year. I guess in 78, actually, it came out in 77. So it was nominated in 78. Ended up losing to, does either one of you remember? What did it lose to?
Rocky.
That was
Annie Hall.
Annie Hall.
Yep, lost to Annie Hall. But yeah, it changed the game. We're here right now doing a Star Wars podcast because of that movie that came out in 1977. The vision behind it, what George Lucas did, all the stories, all the mythology that we've heard about. Nobody's going to like it. And Coppola's going, are you sure you want to do that? And Fox was like, sure, I guess we'll buy it. And here we are, rooms full of merchandise, a million podcasts, all the things. So, and just what it did for the movie industry overall. But just, I mean, I think it is deserving based on the legacy that it has.
Fair point. All right, John.
Well, I already pretty much gave away my Empire to me.
Yep.
I know it's not the most original choice, but to me it's my favorite out of all the films, and I think it is the best film all around. My second choice is Rogue One, though. And then after that would be A New Hope. But I'm all in on Empire.
Excellent. Well, let's see, chat. What do you have? Who do you think of which movie of the three do you do you recommend as best picture?
Spaceballs. Ewok Adventures.
Spaceballs.
Ewok.
Yep.
All right, chat. It's up to you. Actually, you know, we're going to let Chris weigh in on this, but this is the big award of the night. Chris, of those three, or do you have a fourth to throw in there on us?
Yeah. My answer is yes.
Okay.
Gimme.
Safe.
Yeah. Gimme.
Diplomatic.
All of them. I strictly going by my favorite. It's going to be Return of the Jedi for me.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's a good one as well. Okay, so who do we have? Anybody in the chat? Do you have of those four? KG is with Chris. Let's see. I saw another Return of the Jedi in there actually.
Dan Grissom.
Yeah, Dan says Return of the Jedi. Yeah, you know what? I think unless anybody has a good argument against Return of the Jedi, which is a great movie of its own, between Chris...
Marianne says Rogue One. I saw New Hope when I was 12.
Okay, so Marianne and I were like kind of in that same zone. Yeah. Wow. So we got a tough one here.
We got a bunch of twos here, but
yeah.
with Chris on his diplomatic answer, not on his vote for Return of the Jedi. Oh, John, we've got another. There it is. We got another Empire vote.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Okay, we need one more vote to make it happen. Who's it going to be? Not Ewoks, Matt. I'm sorry. Oh, he calls them Ewoks. That's very funny. All right. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. This and honestly, this is perfect for our show.
Oh, here's Matt.
There's Matt with Empire. Okay, Empire it is. Yeah. There we go.
Empire
and that makes sense. You know, again,
it's the right answer.
I mean, you're not going to get arguments from either one of us.
It's right. But so best picture is Empire. So again, so here we go. Our best supporting actress was going all the way back here, Pernilla August. Best supporting actor was Lando. Best actress was Daisy Ridley. Best actor was, who did we go with? Adam Driver.
Adam Driver. Yep.
Director Irvin Kershner for Empire Strikes Back, and best picture Empire Strikes Back. So there we have our first ever Star Wars Oscars here on ATG Live. Yes. So with that, why don't we take a break and then we'll take a couple of phone calls and then we'll call it a night. And let's take a quick break and we'll be back in just a minute with more ATG Live. Well, welcome back to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for everything Star Wars, from interviews to news, conversations to decorating tips. We also that'll be later on in the show, John. If you're going to hang out, we'll talk about how to pick the right colors to best display your Star Wars action figures. We're not
fascinating.
No, yeah, so
shui,
it's
outer space feng shui.
Feng shui, right? Feng shui. So
yeah,
this is the portion of the program where we go back and we check some of the voicemails, and we also take some of our callers from our listeners. Anybody, the link is in the chat, so if you want to join us, please feel free to do so. But we do have a caller waiting, as we do every week. It's the same guy. We're excited to bring him in. Hold on.
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first?
There he is.
And the microphone fiend. Yeah, I got a microphone now.
Mike tonight. Look at you. You're upping your game a bit there, buddy.
Yeah, so shout out if you know that song reference.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rakim.
Oh, Rakim.
Microphone fiend.
Right on.
All right, that's a good one.
Yeah,
excellent.
And don't worry, John. I got a rap name for you, like I do for everyone.
You got rap names?
Yes. You're Tague, like Magoo from Timbaland Association. If you don't know, that's Pete Rock. That's Nick Ross over there, and I'm Easy E. So
I'm down. I'm in the crew.
He's in the crew.
Every
He made
time.
it. So, Eric, do you have any agreements, disagreements, arguments for or against any of the categories this evening, or winners of the categories this evening?
Most of them I'm okay with. Like, there wasn't really one that was just like, what are we doing here? It's just a travesty. Like, would I have put my vote in for Empire to be the best overall movie as far as like what the Academy would look for? No, I'll put that for Last Jedi because I think it has better editing. I think it has better sound production. I think it has better like flow to the story overall.
Yep.
Like if you want to say like one impacts you more, like I'm not going to argue with that. Like I'm not going to argue with like how you feel about it, but I'm looking at it by the technical. And I also think it has a more evolved score. I mean, obviously, John Williams has had a lot of time to write a lot of different pieces that we didn't have before, and he's able to tie it in thematically with other characters now.
So that's an interesting conversation. That could be a conversation for another night, but I definitely want to talk about that because I actually think that John Williams' score for, and I'm going to get some haters for this, for the sequel trilogy is the weakest of the three trilogies. I think the Rey theme is amazing. I think the Kylo theme deserved its own Kylo suite, like we had the Imperial March. The Rise of the Resistance March is amazing, but a lot of it was forgettable. Whereas when you walk out of Empire Strikes Back, you are humming the Imperial March or Yoda's theme, and it sticks with you. So, but I again, it's all a perspective. But to me, I think, and I also think that, and John, weigh in on this, I think movie scores are written differently now. They're written more like in pieces versus larger compositions. I don't know. What anybody have any thoughts on that, or am I crazy?
Well, the one thing popped in my head is like obviously having something memorable is great, but to me, what's most important is how does it serve the story? If you were to take the audio out, how different is it than when you put the music with it? And obviously, you want to check your notes of like what is it harkening back to, like what light motifs it has. Like to me, the Rise of Skywalker music is like all over the place, like thematically. Like for some reason, when Janna and Lando speak to each other, they play the music from when Luke and Leia were speaking to each other, and Luke says, "You're my sister." I'm like, doesn't really work there with the story.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like like Duel of the Fates, like that's a tune that take that out of that scene,
right?
And the music gives such impact to it. I don't really remember much about the sequels score as much as I do about the prequels and the OG.
Yeah. It's funny. Something about that. What's interesting to me about the prequels is how much of that music is still like when you hear it, you're brought back to the moments. You don't. I don't think I noticed it at the time, but so much of the prequel music is so good. My favorite part, one of my favorite musical pieces in the prequel is when Anakin and Padme are kind of, you got the temple in the background. Do you know the scene I'm talking about? Yep. The piece is called Across the Stars. Yep. Yeah, that is a magnificent piece. I love that tune. Yeah. Yep. For sure.
Have you told your guest about the Zilla Beast?
No, we've done talked Zilla Beast.
Boring conversation anyway.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Happens sometimes.
It happens sometimes, Eric. We love him. He doesn't miss a week. He hasn't missed a week on a phone call. I think that was Chris who gets to take responsibility.
Eric, the single biggest cause of the rise in Chris's blood pressure.
We love you, buddy.
Hey,
Thanks for calling.
next
We'll see you
year-
again next week.
Hey, next year when we do the Oscars, can we do favorite or best hologram scene?
Sure.
Yes, 100%.
I think that's got to be in there.
Yeah,
And you can choose the hologram scene from the Christmas special if you want.
Yes.
We do have one voicemail. I'm going to see if I can actually do it right this week, Nick. Let's see here. How do we do this? Do this here and that there. And hang on a second. We don't. Here we go. I'm going to. There we go. Here we go. Here's our call from the week.
Hey, fellas, it's Matthew Neenan. It's cold as all get out here in Oklahoma, and I'm stuck in the house, freezing if you go outside. So I thought I'd call your hotline and answer some of your questions about the greatest actors in Star Wars history. Well, first off, Adam Driver has to be a freaking really good actor because he pulled off that character. You know, it's hard to be the biggest crybaby douchebag in the history of Star Wars. The flying colors. So.
Matt has big feelings about Kylo.
God, I hate that character. But as far as best actors in Star Wars performances, Star Wars history has to be Alec Guinness, man. Alec Guinness is the one. The scene where he smiles at freaking Vader right before Vader kills him, when he realizes that Luke and Leia have been reunited and his job is done, and basically he won. That's the most important, greatest scene in Star Wars history, and I'll go down forever saying that. But anyway, I'll be listening tomorrow night. Hope you guys are warm because I'm freezing my balls off here in Oklahoma. So, have a great day, man. Talk to you later. Bye.
There's Matt from Enid. We get John. We get weekly calls from him, and we get weekly live updates from Eric on the show, and then whoever else wants to call in. But he's. I mean, honestly, it is hard to ignore Alec Guinness's role in that. But yeah, no, I think those are both great calls.
The funny thing about those older guys, you know, you got Alec Guinness and you got Christopher Lee and you've got Peter Cushing. When they were all like talking about making the films, they weren't really that bothered with it, you know. They were just like, I'm doing this thing. And you know, how did they? You know, Alec Guinness had no idea, I think, at the time, what an impact he was going to have on culture.
Yeah,
you know,
he didn't even.
Even before Yoda,
doing.
I mean,
yeah,
even before Yoda, it was all about Obi-Wan. You know,
Yep.
and you know, he was the Force, you know, wielder. He was the wizard.
Yep. No, it's interesting because between him and I think I was talking to, I don't remember who it was. Somebody was on Around the Galaxy for an interview, and they were talking about how one of the reasons you had Alec Guinness and Peter Cushing was there was a certain, I think they had to have a certain representation of English actors to be able to shoot over in the UK at the time.
Yep.
And
they do the same thing in Canada.
Yes, Canada, right. That's yep.
They can only take two. They can only take. I think it's only 2 American actors for each Canadian production. I think.
Oh, really?
I might be wrong, but I think that's it. Yeah.
Have you done many productions in Canada?
No.
Okay. I thought
they're missing out.
They are.
That's right. They're totally missing out.
Well, pretty soon they'll be.
Although Canada's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Might become an American production soon.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I think we're coming to around the end here. I want to bring in Chris again real quick. Chris, this is becoming sort of a thing, and I should warn you ahead of time. But what is new in the Broaxium shop for people to pick up this week?
Okay. This week, the latest pre-order that I have right now is it's something that some fans are upset about, but you know, whatever. It is it's not even Star Wars related. It's a Marvel Legends series, the new Maximum series. It is a Spider-Man figure that comes with so many accessories and things like that, and like I think even more points of articulation. And this one is going for a whopping $50. The same size.
That's it. Just $50.
Size, just 50. But it's one of those. It's one of those deluxe ones, like you'll get with Star Wars, like with the Boba Fett that comes with just the same stuff that a regular Boba Fett would come with, but it's in a larger box, so they sell it for more. They charge me more than I had to sell it for more. But yeah, so this one, like, it's an amazing looking Spider-Man figure, and it's expensive, and people are upset about it, and they're selling out everywhere.
Hey, use code ATG10 and you're going to get 10% off that $50, right?
Yeah, it's not even 50 for you at this point.
That's right. See, exactly. And which Spider-Man is it?
It's Spider-Man. Oh well, Peter Parker Spider-Man. So it's just like the regular Spidey.
Okay.
He even comes with like a thing for his head, so it looks like he's getting the Spidey senses. It's
oh really?
Cool. Yeah,
that's actually cool. Very cool. That's very cool. Great, cool. Well, thank you, Chris. And let's go back over here real quick. Hockey score update. End of the second period. 2-2. Tie game.
Hockey. Oh, that's my favorite sport. What happened?
Shoes with knives on them, Chris. Shoes with knives on them.
Shoes with knives on them. People running around on ice. All right. John, give us one last where can we find you? Where can we follow you? Where can we keep up with you? And I'm psyched about this VR thing now. Now I just can't wait.
Oh, me too. Yeah, no, I'm really excited about it. It's going to be cool. You can find me on Instagram at John J Tague. You can find me on TikTok at The Real John Tague. I'm on Blue Sky, just John Tague. Yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
You can find my web series, The Rolling Soldier, on Circuit Cinema, which is a new streaming service that it's being broadcast on, which is pretty cool. And yeah, and guys, I just want to tell you, I'm really disappointed in the dress code for the Oscars.
I know. Next year
I expect better next year, and
we got you.
But you guys are like the bright spot of my week, especially lately, man.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, your show is just pure escapism for me, and I love you guys, and I wish you guys nothing but the best, and thank you for having me on.
Oh man, anytime, absolutely anytime. And hey, when you're back in New Jersey visiting family,
we got to hook it up.
Let's get together, man.
We will for sure.
Yeah. We'll coordinate. I'll fly back up. We'll make it all happen.
Nick, are you in Alabama?
I am. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm not going there.
Yeah. There's nothing here except me. So
no,
I'll come to Jersey.
I've been to Alabama. I like Alabama.
And I didn't hesitate. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's fine.
All right, I'll see you guys at Jersey. We'll go get a slice and a Coke.
Yes, perfect. Perfect.
All right, boys. Thanks.
Take it easy, my friend. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye. Well, Nick, anything to add at this point?
I mean, how do you top that? We have a Hollywood actor rocking his red carpet best, showing up to show us how the Oscars are supposed to be. And
instead of a
we're going to learn our lessons. We're going to come prepared.
Yeah,
we're going to come prepared next time to be a better version of ourselves. But it's been another great week, and I'm thankful to John. I'm thankful to Chris hanging out, producing, doing what he does so well. I'm thankful to all of you who are watching, hanging out, participating in the chat. I'm thankful to Matt stopping people outside the liquor store by his kids' karate dojo in Enid, Oklahoma. This is all a part of the magic that makes ATG Live every Thursday night. So it's so much fun for us. It's our escape. It's the bright point in our week to get to hang out and do this. So I'm good. Thank you.
Awesome. Who do we have next week?
Next week, I'm glad you asked. We have my good friend Maury Sterling, who is also another actor who has been in a million different things. You know him from, oh crap, what was the Claire Danes show? Totally blew it.
I'm gonna send him this clip.
Yep, totally blew it. Totally blew it. Homeland.
Homeland.
Maury
There you go.
Sterling. He was Max in Homeland, and he's been in Deadwood, and he's got a new series out on Hulu, and he's got a new movie out. My Dead Friend Zoe. I think it's called My Dead Friend Zoe. The producing, acting, a bunch of amazing stuff. He has also been the voice of Male Smuggler in a couple of the Star Wars video games. Has a great Star Wars story. I may get him to tell that story next week about the potential Battlefront sequel that never happened, that he did and recorded and was shelved and is in like a warehouse in France somewhere. So Maury Sterling, good friend of ours, is going to be on with us next week, and we're going to talk about Star Wars and also his new movie that's coming out.
Cool. Well, we hope to see you all next week. If you're watching on the YouTube and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Do that now. Hit the like button. Share this. Tell friends about it. We'd love to have you hang out with us. And Nick, may the force be with you.
Always.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.